Today, we're diving into a critical what-if scenario. What would actually happen if those long-simmering tensions between Iran, Israel, and the United States finally boiled over into an open war? Let's break down what a potential 2026 conflict could really look like.
So, what happens when these three powers get pulled into a direct fight? Is this a conflict over nuclear weapons, a raw struggle for who controls the region, or is it something even more fundamental, a battle for national survival itself? Let's dig into what could trigger it and the deep-seated reasons behind it.
To really get how a conflict like this could just ignite, we need to picture a specific flashpoint. So let's set the scene for how these tensions might finally and catastrophically boil over.
Okay, picture this. It's February 28, 2026. The world wakes up to the news that the US and Israel have launched coordinated airstrikes against Iran's nuclear sites. Now, this wouldn't be some random act. It'd be a very calculated move to, in their eyes, neutralize a major threat. But here's the kicker: the speed of the comeback. When Iran retaliates just hours later, it's not just a response. It's a powerful statement that instantly turns a long, simmering shadow war into a direct, full-blown confrontation that nobody can ignore.
But a flashpoint like that doesn't just happen out of the blue. An explosion of violence on this scale would be the predictable result of decades of deep-seated hostility and problems that were never solved.
So why? Why would it ever come to this? What are the core issues that could push these nations right over the brink? Let's break down the real causes.
It really all boils down to three main pressure points, and they're all tangled up together. First, you've got Iran's nuclear ambitions. Second, Israel's core concerns about its own national security. And third, the United States' long-standing role and influence in the Middle East. Each one of these issues fuels the others, and together they create an incredibly volatile mix.
And right here, this is where you see the massive gulf in how each side sees the world. For the US and Israel, any intelligence pointing to a weapons program is a red line. It's an existential threat that they feel has to be stopped. But for Iran, its nuclear program is a symbol of national pride, of sovereignty. So this isn't just a simple disagreement over facts, it's a clash of worldviews that are completely non-negotiable. And that makes it the perfect justification for a conflict.
Now, once the fighting is underway, it's absolutely crucial to understand what each side is actually trying to get. What are their ultimate non-negotiable goals?
So what does everybody really want here? Well, if you look at their explicit demands, it becomes crystal clear just how far apart they truly are.
When you put their demands side by side, it's pretty wild. They're basically complete opposites, and it shows you just how deadlocked this situation is. The US and Israel want to permanently dismantle Iran's ability to project any kind of power. But for Iran, its missiles and its influence in the region are seen as absolutely essential for its own defense. So what you're looking at isn't a list for negotiation, it's a list of non-starters from everybody involved, leaving almost zero room for a diplomatic way out.
And that's really the heart of the problem, isn't it? While the goals are all about regional security and influence, the real battlefield would be the global economy and international stability. The fallout from this fight wouldn't stay contained. The stakes are, without a doubt, global.
And that leads us right to the impact a conflict like this would have on the rest of us. Because in our hyper-connected world, a regional war is never, ever just regional.
The very first thing everyone around the world would feel is the hit to their wallet. Any conflict near the Strait of Hormuz, that's the narrow channel where about a fifth of the entire world's oil passes through, would instantly send shockwaves through energy markets. Oil prices would go through the roof, and you'd feel that everywhere from the gas pump to the grocery store.
But the chaos wouldn't stop with oil prices. You'd see global trade routes get completely rerouted, causing massive supply chain problems. International flights would be affected. And of course, the most tragic part, a huge humanitarian crisis would unfold as thousands upon thousands of civilians get caught right in the middle of it all.
It's just a stark reminder that in our world today, there is no such thing as a major conflict happening in a vacuum. The shockwaves are guaranteed to be felt by everyone, everywhere.
And that brings us to the final and, frankly, the most important point of all. Beyond all the strategy, the politics, and the economics, we have to talk about the real price of a conflict like this.
Because behind all the headlines, all the political maneuvering, and all the military calculations,
there are people, real people, families losing their homes, children losing their futures. Because war is never just about strategy on a map. Its truest cost is always paid in human lives.
So we're left with this massive question. With national security, national sovereignty, and the stability of the entire globe all hanging in the balance, is there any possible path away from the brink?